I keep hearing the same story from people who scroll through gaming laptop listings. The glossy photos make everything look like a dream machine, but once you actually fire it up at home, the experience feels a lot less magical. You click add to cart, you get the beast on paper, and then the battery dies after an hour, the screen looks washed out in bright rooms, or the laptop just won't fit in the small desk space you have. It's a frustrating cycle, especially when you're spending a couple of $1,000s on something you expect to be a daily driver for both work and play. That's why I'm doing this deep dive on the MSI Stealth A16 AI Plus. I want to help you decide if this is the laptop that will actually live up to the hype, or if it's another glossy advert that will disappoint once it's out of the box. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. First off, let's talk about what the Stealth A16 is trying to be. MSI positions it as an all-in-one solution for high refresh, high-resolution gaming while also promising a sleek, portable chassis that can double as a professional workstation. The headline specs are Ryzen 9 HX370, RTX 5070T GPU, 32GB of DDR5 RAM, and a 2TB NVMe SSD, already screened, no compromises. But the real question is how those specs translate into everyday usage, and whether the laptop's hidden trade-offs line up with what you need. If you're a competitive gamer who lives for 240Hz frame rates, the A16's QHD Plus OLED screen is the first thing you'll notice. OLED gives you perfect blacks and vibrant colors, which makes dark map pop-outs and neon cityscapes look stunning. In my testing, the 240Hz refresh combined with the OLED panel's low input lag made fast-paced shooters feel buttery smooth, even when I cranked the graphics settings to ultra. The 16-inch size is a sweet spot for a desktop replacement, large enough for immersive gameplay, yet still portable enough to stuff into a backpack for a LAN party or a coffee shop work session. What you don't see in the spec sheet is the impact of the OLED's power draw on battery life. When I switched from a game that's heavy on the GPU to a lighter indie title, the battery dropped from an advertised 8 hours to about 3 hours of mixed usage. That's because OLED panels, while gorgeous, consume more power than traditional LCDs, especially at high brightness. If you plan to game on the go without plugging in, you'll need to accept frequent charging stops or keep a power bank handy. For a desktop-bound gamer who plugs in most of the time, that's not a deal-breaker, but it's a hidden cost you should be aware of. Now, about the AI features that MSI touts. The laptop comes with enhanced power management and some software tricks that claim to power your passion. In practice, the AI power mode shifts the CPU and GPU clock speeds based on what you're doing. It ramps up when you launch a demanding title, then quickly drops to a more modest state when you're browsing the web. The transition is seamless enough that you don't notice any lag, and the power savings add a few minutes of battery life here and there. It's not a revolutionary breakthrough, but it does help keep the high-end components from throttling under prolonged load, which is a nice touch for long gaming sessions. The Wi-Fi 7 module is another highlight. In a house with a crowded 2.4 GHz band, the new 6 GHz spectrum gave me a noticeable bump in speed when I was streaming a 4K movie while a teammate was in a voice chat. The connection stayed rock solid, with almost zero packet loss, which is something I've struggled with on older laptops. If you work from home and need a reliable, low-latency connection for video calls or cloud-based game streaming, this upgrade is a real practical win. Let's talk storage and memory. 2 TB of NVMe SSD space sound massive, and they are. I filled the drive with a mix of AAA games, a few 4K video projects, and a sizable Minecraft world, and still had room left over. The 32GB of DDR5 RAM means you can keep multiple heavy applications open, like running a game, a Discord voice channel, and a Photoshop session without the system feeling sluggish. In real-world multitasking, the laptop handled those demands with ease, and I never saw any stutter or delay in frame rates. The only downside here is the cost. The high-end memory and storage configurations push the price into the premium bracket, so you're essentially paying for a laptop that's already near the top of the market. One hidden compromise that some buyers might miss is the laptop's thermal design. The Stealth A16 is thin for a machine with a 500-plus GPU, and MSI decided to use a dual-fan system with a vapor chamber spreading heat across the chassis. In an 8-hour gaming marathon, the fans stayed audible, a low whine that you can hear in quiet rooms, but they never got so loud that they became a distraction. The temperatures, however, did climb into the